Hello there, Commonwealth from here. Faron, the most mysterious province that was in Breath of the Wild, but also wasn't. A place with no main quest objectives, aka divine beasts, or memories for that matter, with a giant rainforest and plenty of Zonai ruins to explore, and naturally the best holiday resort in Hyrule. Now that we have received our first Tears of the Kingdom footage of Faron, let's return to this tropical land of the distant past, from where we will head up to new heights. Not only that, we're getting into this jungle and tropical coastal paradise together with monsters. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell. As always, 3000 likes is our goal, and let's get inside Tears of the Kingdom's Faron.
Faron, the goddess of courage, creator of life, and with it, spirits could be instrumental to the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. After all, Faron is her province. Sadly, in Breath of the Wild, the region wasn't worthy of a divine beast in memories. One could say the Zelda team held Faron back for this game. Anyway, welcome to the province of the electric spirit dragon Faron and the ruins of the unnamed Zonai who cherish the spirit animal of Faron, the dragon. Well, them and the possible bloodline descendants of said tribe who are ready to take center stage. Where? In Faron, naturally. Get ready for a lot of Zonai in this video, but instead of starting in the west, let's start from Lurelin Village in the east, and for good reasons, as you'll soon see. Paradise Village might be promoted to the same status of Zora's Domain, Gerudo Town, Kakariko Village, and Hateno Village in Tears of the Kingdom, to a key story settlement where you arrive to complete a number of main quest objectives, filled with cutscenes and, like in nearly all the mentioned places, voiced characters. Something we definitely didn't have in Lurelin. A sleepy coastal village, but with an interesting secret in a certain mirror located next to a Zonai carved monument east of the village. The inhabitants of the village don't look like your average Hylian, despite being Hylian, and this may be tied to the fact that these people's blood might be connected to the symbol of their village, the spiral, which we have seen on so many Zonai ruins across Hyrule, in the underground, and finally in its Sky Islands.
The past of these people might literally be knocking on their door in this game, reminding the tribe of who they once were and their important role in the upcoming struggle, the last living remnant of the once mighty Zonai titled Pending Warrior Tribe, which was centered in Faron and from where the inhabitants of Lurelin might or might not descend from, and earlier on the Twilight, as the similarities in symbols and later admiration from the ancient Sheikah is unquestionable. After all, why would the Sheikah go to such a length to place some of their most key shrines to locations associated with this tribe, unless that tribe itself originally was Sheikah, and with it Ganondorf's greatest enemy, who sealed them underground for tens if not even hundreds of thousands of years, since everything in the era of Tears Hyrule goes in tens and hundreds, 100 years, 10,000 years, and so on. The original tribe that split from the Sheikah and became the Interlopers, who were banished to the Twilight Realm and became the Twilight, and people who built new structures of floating islands there, carving and at this process also adopting the at this point famous spiral, dual serpents, while at the same time also maintaining a modified Sheikah eye, a reminder of their origins. A civilization which mended relations with the Kingdom of Hyrule in the era of Twilight, and might have been at a later point, despite the destruction of the Mirror of Twilight, invited or found a way to return for a different means, just like the Gerudo prior to them, ultimately settling down in Faron and living there until Ganondorf's invasion.
This possible connection we see here may grant one of the NPCs we already know in Lurelin a central voiced character, one who, just like the successors of the champions in the Divine Beast provinces in Breath of the Wild, will take us out of the province's main settlement to deal with a problem concerning the entire province. And what could the issue in Tears of the Kingdom be in what was a relatively problem-free province in Breath of the Wild? The storm cloud above what appears to be the entirety of Zonai ruins, from the main road to the Spring of Courage in Dracosa Lake, the former home of the Zonai, which was abandoned as they no longer had the population after the Ganondorf incident to maintain it. Thus, the remaining members of the tribe may have moved to the coast and began to mingle with the far more numerous Hylians, or were dominated by them, who knows. But back to the one scene we have so far from and above northern Korda Lake. Here, just like in other parts of Hyrule, rocks from the sky have most likely fallen due to Ganondorf's minor earthquake. Fallen sky rocks that will be time reversed by Link's new hand to most likely reach new areas and floating islands in the heavens. Places or even temples which which may get rid of the storm clouds added to the already filled with lightning part of this tropical province, or places that will lead us to a temple where we find the Spring of Courage, the location of Skyward Sword's first dungeon, Skyview Temple, and a place of divine and spiritual power.
Either way, as we all remember in Breath of the Wild, fixing or reclaiming a main quest objective resulted in calming down said province, and opening a new pool of side quests often related to shrines, and a final province completion reward. At least that was the case in Gerudo. I'm not saying anything, but it could be the same in Tears of the Kingdom's Faron, where after initially facing certain added enemies such as the theorized Kargarok or a different type of key, we get our way through one of the 7 tiers or dungeons to restore Faron to the tropical paradise state filled with regular Lizalfos enemies that we know and love. These are likely also to become buffed with Ganondorf's return, just like the Bokoblins and Moblins. Now, with the heavy emphasis on dragons and possibly also serpents in this game, and especially in this province, we need some added wildlife. And when I think about tropical rainforests, I primarily think of 2. One mammal and one reptile. Monkeys and snakes, or rope as they have been called in Zelda's past. The monkeys in Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess were great, so here's hoping for some monkey business in Tears of the Kingdom's Rainforest province. After all, we have plenty of bananas. And since we're on the subject of animals, the ones carved out of stone in this province, namely the often dug down Boar of Power, so Ganondorf and his Yiga allies, proud road statues of the Owl of Wisdom, so Zelda/Hylia and the Kakariko Sheikah, and finally the Dragon of Courage, Link/Spirit of the Hero, and the Zonai, or possibly back in Hyrule, Twilight. Statues that might gain story or gameplay purpose in Tears of the Kingdom. So Faron is exclusively the site of stone dragons, rainforest and Lurelin Village. No! You're right, Carlos, as there's so much more to love in this region beside those places. Like the lengthy coast which barely had any shrines tempting us to sail the Faron Sea, which by the way was barely possible to sail due to the edge of the map almost being placed at the beach. So yes, please expand this one Zelda team, and while you're at it, add at least one Zonai island that isn't up in the sky.
Joking aside, you also have far more candidates for alterations away from the main trade road. These include Faron Grasslands, the Highland Stable, Guccini Plain with its mysterious columns or pillars, Rasla Lake, Tuft Mountain with its heart-shaped lake, Gogobi Shores, Cape Cressia, and naturally Zonai Palmyrea Beach and ruins next to Lurelin Village. But even without these, Faron is already confirmed to be a province that is gaining key objects in locations that had no significance in Breath of the Wild, including changes like what appears to be cave entrances, possibly leading to what we all desire, the underground layer that we know from the first teaser of the game, filled with Zonai stone carvings and possibly the hieroglyphics we've seen in the title reveal trailer. After all, this trailer cut off from the underground to Link in the Sky in more or less the same manner as the E3 2021 teaser. Needless to say, it looks more and more plausible that the Zonai, whether dead or alive, will take over the Sheikah storytelling role in the continuation of Breath of the Wild, specifically the hero's path the ancient Sheikah put us on. We could totally see the Faron province and several of its regular NPCs becoming new authorities, who will lead us forward through a more linear and mysterious story of the distant past and present. A position similar to the one Necluda had in Breath of the Wild, where we spend much of the game between our adventures in the sky to gain new clues, hidden tunics, and the likes. Just like how Impa handed us the Champion's Tunic after regaining one of Link's memories from the photos of the Sheikah Slate. The potential of this Zonai region is immense.
A place that goes from 0 in Breath of the Wild to 100 in Tears of the Kingdom's main quest, where the Zonai region of the surface truly shines, including its current hub, the Lurelin Village, which should become the Kakariko village of this game, filled with new attractions, new recipes for cooking, plenty of side quests including the best multi-stage ones, and plenty, and then I mean plenty of lore that will keep us in this coastal paradise for far longer than we ever stayed in Breath of the Wild. It is time for the provinces of Farosh and Zonai on the surface to rise in prominence and take the place it deserves as one of the key 7 main quest provinces of Tears of the Kingdom that encircle central Hyrule and Ganondorf in his Malice Castle. This is partially what a sequel releasing over 6 years after its original is all about, altering and going deeper into the regions we know and love and giving us the Zonai payoff that we've all been waiting for, including the actual name of these so-called Faron barbarian warriors. And just like that, we've covered Faron, the former surface home and main shrine of the Zonai. What about the Sheikah and the main Hylian province after the calamity, Necluda? Well, that is where you come into action, since just like in our gameplay video series, we want your ideas for each of Hyrule's 7 remaining provinces that we are left to cover in the build up to the May 12, 2023 release of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So head down to the comments and share your ideas as the best ones regarding the home of the Sheikah, and Hylian's Necluda will be shouted out in that episode. A big thanks as always goes to Naomiii, but also from Naomiii Sideshow for providing special footage that made this video so much better. So thank you so much to both of them, and a big shout out to all of them. If you haven't already, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell to not miss any episode of Inside Tears of the Kingdom. But now be sure to also head over to Monstermaid's part of this collab. Finally, a big thanks to you for watching, and all patreon.com/commonroll patrons, and in particular raw producer Charles Shash. You rock, and please enjoy Monstermaid's video on his channel.